Hi, this video looks at the Ishikawa fishbone and how you can use that as part of facilitation method. It's a very popular problem solving technique, so you may have seen it before, and we can use this with group work to understand more about an issue and to identify trends. Let's see how it works. So the Ishikawa fishbone diagram, to give it its full title, is useful to explore issues and identify aspects of a problem, very commonly used in problem solving, and we can use it to understand how things contribute to the greater picture. So for instance, here we have, why do Manchester United keep losing? And around the edges we have the key aspects of football as we define them: goalkeeping, defence, midfield, attack, management, scouting, opposition and funds. And simply all we do is place our data, either formally constructed as part of the exercise or perhaps gathered through a brain dump before the exercise, and we map that data onto the skeleton. And of course, the more we have in a certain area might suggest to us where we need to tackle, which area we need to tackle. So for instance, if this were a real fishbone, we'd say, well, look, we've obviously got some issues in midfield and something going on with the way that the opposition are doing things that we need to respond to. So that's the important part of fishbone, is that it's very important to get the right question, because that will dictate the headings you use, and that will dictate how useful this is. Start to look at how fishbone can be done in Jamboard. Well, I've actually drawn one out already because it's, as you can see, it's a significant piece of artwork, and it's helpful to have a template drawn out beforehand. Obviously, I've just sketched this with the pen tool in Jamboard, and I've got at the front end here, the head of the fish is the question that I'm trying to explore. So in this example, I'm looking at what does a great facilitator actually do. Now you'll see I've drawn a fishbone. You'll see that I've drawn 6 limbs or bones coming off the main backbone of the fish. So we're going to need 6 subheadings to look at to understand what a great facilitator actually does. So the template you use and the number of bones that are on the fish will influence the outcome you get. There is something very important with fishbone, which is this, and I've put this on another jam because I know this comes up a lot, and it's a question that's commonly asked. Where do the titles come from on the fishbone? In other words, we're going to have headings on these arms that we are going to look at, and they're going to dictate the groupings that we use in our exercise. The truth is, of course, there's 2 reasons, or two places rather, that these headings can come from. The first place is that they're created by the facilitator. It may be that the facilitator feels that these are the 6 or however many it might be, but these are the 6 main areas of the topic that we want to explore. Of course, this keeps the facilitator in control, but of course it's more manipulative. It's suggesting and telling the group what the headings are that they must use. The other option, of course, is that those headings are created by the group. Now, that's less controlling and involves more facilitation and is quite easily done. And if you can imagine faced with this particular question, we might need to lead off this exercise with almost like a brainstorm of ideas of what does a great facilitator do, which we then condense down into the 6 top areas. And so therefore a little bit of work in advance of the fishbone might be helpful. So let's assume we've done that in this case. Let's assume we've asked the group what it is that they think are the top 6 things, the top 6 areas that a great facilitator needs to be competent in. So there we go. Let's say we've done that. So as a facilitator now, I've got my headings that I can work with. The next thing we do, of course, is ask the group, well, okay, we now need to put some detail in these. So you can split your people up into teams and ask one group perhaps to look at active listening. What is it that the facilitator does that actually demonstrates active listening? One group to look at great techniques. What is it that fits within that remit? What is it that they do that understands behaviour, etc., etc. Now, of course, there is an additional way you could do this, which would be to just brain dump everything everybody sees about facilitation, and then they map their post-it notes onto this skeleton. So if they have something that is about maintaining focus, they put it on this arm. If they have something which is about great techniques, they put it in this arm. So I'm just going to create some here that we can use, because I'm going to do something else with this in a moment. So we're going to use Fishbone. We say great facilitators use WTF because we know about that already. We're going to say that great facilitators use a behaviour model. In fact, we're going to be more specific about that. We're going to say that they use spectrum to help them understand behaviour. We're going to say that they control disruptive behaviour. We're going to say that they use open questions. We're going to say that they create a timeline and plan. We're going to say that they prepare materials. We're going to say that they give time to others. Okay, you can see that my typing is not my strongest point. And there we are. So we've got some things that we're going to now put on that. So uses Fishbone. Well, that goes, you can see under this one we've got great techniques. They use WTF, which is about maintaining focus. So we can just squeeze these up a little bit so they fit on there. Prepares materials, that's part of effective planning. Then we can say creates an active timeline and a plan, that also fits in there. Uses Fishbone, we know is going to be one of the great techniques. Give time to others. So let's say gives time to others. And again, that's reduced down. There's an active listening. They use spectrum, which is about behaviour. They control disruptive behaviour. Well, that of course could be in maintaining focus or in understanding behaviour. I'm going to put it in this one for no particular reason. And use open questions, that goes in there as well. So we've got a populated Fishbone of material that fits and we're happy with, I think. Okay, so that's how we use Fishbone, and I hope you find that helpful and useful. So that's the Fishbone. It's a practical tool and I'm sure you'll find lots of uses for it.